Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we've got some huge Disney news.
Oh yeah.
Remember that rumor last year that Bob Iger could return, that they could be ousting Bob Chapek? Mm-hmm. It's happening. It's happening. Just got this story, came through on the Hollywood Reporter. The board is getting rid of Chapek and bringing in Iger. Apparently, we're going to react to this. I just pulled the story up. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. 281,000 subs.
Yay!
Go to piratesandprincesses.net. We haven't even gotten the story up yet. Holy hell.
Well, this is interesting because the other day I just saw an article and they were talking about how Bob Iger wouldn't disparage Chapek publicly, but behind the scenes, when people would ask him, he would say, you know, he didn't like the way it was going. He thinks the stock crash is terrible. Choices that are being made were bad. He's been saying, like, you know, behind Chapek's back that he didn't like him. Everybody's been knowing that when you get them in the same room, it wasn't, like, exactly, you know, friendly.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is it. This is all we have. This literally just happened. In a stunning turn of events, the Walt Disney Company says Bob Chapek will step down as CEO with Bob Iger returning to lead the company. We thank Bob Chapek for his service to Disney over his long career, including, oh my God, so he's ousted from the company. Including navigating the company through the unprecedented challenges of the pandemic, said Susan Arnold, chairman of the board. The board has concluded that as Disney embarks on an increasingly complex period of industry transformation, Bob Iger is uniquely situated to lead the company through this pivotal period.
Well, a couple things here. One, it's the 100th anniversary coming up, and people have been like really like saying how bad it was. But two, you know, how much are they paying him?
Oh, I'm sure they're paying him a lot.
I mean, to get him to come back.
Yeah, so basically Bob Chapek, I mean, my takeaway from this, and they're not saying much of anything right now, my takeaway is he got fired. It's Scott Gustin breaking.
What's Variety say anything different too?
Variety, Bob, yeah, let's see here.
Holy shit.
No, this is it. Nobody has anything else on it.
The board fired him.
The board fired Bob Chapek.
He's stepping down.
No, bullshit.
Yeah. They fire you. They'll say, oh, I'm just moving on to bigger and better things.
This was rumored last year. People said we were crazy. This would never happen.
I don't know. To be completely fair, I didn't think it would happen either.
I didn't think it would either. I thought it was a stretch, but...
I said that I didn't think they would do that. Because I think that, I mean, I thought they might get rid of Bob Chapek, but I didn't think they'd go backwards and bring Bob Iger back. Now, I want to point out again, you know, I don't like Bob Chapek, but not everything that happened was Chapek's fault. Genie Plus, that was Bob Iger. Some of the different choices that were made were in play before Chapek took over, and they were under Iger's watch. People tend to forget that. I do not think Chapek's a good choice. I totally don't disagree with them for getting rid of him, but I also remember that a lot of the stuff that came into play was because of Iger too. I don't know if bringing back Bob Iger is the right thing to do either. That's why Disney got so political, was Bob Iger.
Yeah, so I mean, he basically set up all the dominoes, and then they brought in Chapek to clumsily knock them over.
He got them through the pandemic, and now
he was the fall guy. We speculated this. We said if they get rid of Chapek after the pandemic, he was basically the fall guy to get them through the pandemic, and then they would bring somebody else back. But who else is qualified to lead Disney at this point? I mean, clearly, Bob Chapek does know what the fuck he's doing.
They don't have time to train somebody.
No.
I mean, they didn't put Josh D'Amaro in, which is interesting to me. They just brought Bob Iger back.
You know, the interesting thing about this, though, is like, how desperate is Disney?
Well, I know it's after hours, but what are the stocks doing?
Looks like
I don't think it's hit the people know yet.
No.
Yeah, it's all been like 9-10 minutes ago. Yeah, we have all these articles. Disney's losing his magic. It's not coming back. Now, I want to point out too that, you know, the running Star Wars into the ground and choosing a new trilogy for Galaxy's Edge, that was all Bob Iger too. So yeah, it's really. I mean, I'm glad they're getting rid of Bob Chapek. But I don't know if bringing Bob Iger back is the best choice either.
This might just be a temporary thing. We don't know the details. We'll probably get more information tomorrow. But this is a freaking bombshell. I mean, this just shows you how bad things must be at Disney for them to just, you know, axe them right after the earnings call. Like, yeah. I mean, they're laying everybody else off, and they're freaking throwing them out.
They just gave him a contract extension not long ago.
They probably bought him out.
McCarthy's still there. They get rid of her too. That's the next person I'd cut.
I don't know. But I mean, Bob Chapek was, he's fucking terrible. I don't know what else to say. I mean, there are some cases where I think he's correct in terms of watching the bottom line, but the guy is not a creative The company is in shambles right now. Guest satisfaction is in an all-time low.
Again, I want to point out that was not all his fault.
It was not all his fault.
I'm not trying to make excuses, but I get pissed when people just like say that, oh, Bob Iger's the greatest thing ever. It's like, but a lot of the things you're mad about Chapek for now, Iger initiated.
Well, this happens in politics too. A lot of times the previous president will set things up, and then when the next president comes in, they have to pick up the pieces, but they get blamed for whatever.
Well, I hope it's a good thing. I would have liked to have seen somebody else get a turn. We already had Iger in there.
Who else are they gonna?
They need someone that can hit the ground running.
They need somebody that can hit the ground running.
Holy shit! Well, that means that the whole time that he's been talking to the board behind Chapek's back, when he was talking to other people behind Chapek's back, literally just an article a couple days ago, I forget where it was at, talking about this. And now he's suddenly back. They would have had to have had this, been working on this for a while. It wouldn't be like, snap your fingers, here's the deal, I'm coming back. You know what I mean?
They probably took a look at the books and they were like, Disney needs to really up its game at this point. I mean, we're hemorrhaging money, and yeah, I don't know what to think. I don't know if it's a good thing necessarily, but it might be like they needed to get rid of Chapek immediately, and he's the only guy that is remotely qualified to take over.
You even had the one guy in the news calling him Bob Chapek.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that tell you?
Okay.
So we have some answers here.
Yeah, we're starting to get some answers. Go ahead.
Okay, so according to Scott Gustin, there's a release from Disney. Iger's going to serve for 2 years after Chapek decided to, quote unquote, step down my ass.
He didn't step down. He got ousted.
I think so too.
He got ousted.
And then they have, then Iger already sent an email out to cast members and employees. You can read that one.
Yeah, so dear fellow employees and cast members, it's with an incredible sense of gratitude and humility, and I must admit a bit of amazement, that I write you this evening with the news that I am returning to the Walt Disney Company as Chief Executive Officer. Okay,
and then here down below is this is the whole release from Disney.
Okay,
here we go.
All right, so the Walt Disney Company announced today that Robert A. Iger is returning to lead Disney as Chief Executive Officer effective immediately. They fired Bob Chapek. I'm sorry. They fired Bob Chapek tonight. Mr. Iger, who spent more than 4 decades at the company, including 15 years as its CEO, has agreed to serve as Disney CEO for 2 years with a mandate from the board to set the strategic direction for renewed growth and to work closely with the board in developing a successor to lead the company at the completion of his term. Mr. Iger succeeds Bob Chapek, who stepped down from his position.
I'm sure he was made to.
He was made to. They bought him out. They bought his contract.
And then they have a quote we already talked about.
Yep.
Mr. Iger has a deep respect of Disney's senior leadership team, most of whom he worked closely with until his departure as executive chairman 11 months ago, and he is greatly admired by Disney employees worldwide, all of which will allow for his seamless transition of leadership.
So they're admitting that they basically fucked up with Bob Chapek, that he wasn't ready for the job, but he was a fall guy, during the pandemic.
Here's his quote. I'm extremely optimistic for the future of this great company and thrilled to be asked by the board to return as the CEO. Disney and its incomparable brands and franchises hold it a special place in the hearts of so many people around the globe, most especially in the hearts of our employees, whose dedication to this company and its mission is an inspiration. I am deeply honored to be asked to again lead this remarkable team with a clear mission focused on creative excellence to inspire generations through unrivaled, bold storytelling. Here we go with the storytelling again.
During his 15 years as CEO from 2005 to 2020, Mr. Iger helped build Disney into one of the world's most successful and admired media and entertainment companies with a strategic vision focused on creative excellence, technological innovation, and international growth. He expanded on Disney's legacy of unparalleled storytelling with acquisitions of Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm. The board. So yeah, here's what basically they're like, oh my God, Chapek is running this company into the ground, and we're going to hit an iceberg here with the recession coming up. Who the hell can we call to fix it? Oh, we'll call Bob Iger. We'll bring him back in for 2 years, but he has to train the successor.
So he probably just agreed to it today, and then they just, you're done.
You're done, Bob. See ya.
So by Monday, Bob Iger coming back. Holy shit
That's crazy. That is crazy. This person says, send Kareem out next. They need to clean house. They need to get in there and clean house. Maybe this will be what gets Kathy Kennedy going. Who knows?
I doubt it, because he was like covering for her before. I just think it's interesting. And I mean, now again, it's better than Chapek.
Yes.
Do I think it's like a big difference? Not really, because I think he was initiating a lot of the stuff that caused problems, but it's better than Chapek.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. At least with Bob Iger, I mean, I don't agree with them just buying up other people's ideas, but at least with Bob Iger, you know, he was able to be a little more smooth, I think, in trying to patch up.
He was more charming.
He was more charming, and he did seem to actually have a heart for storytelling. And I don't think he would have said the shitty stuff about animation that Bob Chapek did.
It's him and Christine McCarthy.
Yeah, so she's got to go. She's got to go. Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more information coming out. Stay tuned. See you later.
Bye.